Welcome everybody to Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more commented games, please follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.
On the blue team, we do see a Cho'gath up top, Caitlyn, Nunu down bottom, Talon in the middle with a Lee Sin in the jungle. For the red team, we have a Syndra in the middle, Corki, Lulu down bottom, Renekton up top, and Amumu in the jungle. Caitlyn has picked up Barrier, one of the new spells with this patch. And I think it's going to be very useful, especially when combined with Nunu, giving her a way to prevent a lot of the harassment from either Lulu or Corki when they go for that kill, or before they go for the kill. So the score is 1-0, with Cho'gath picking up an early kill. Talon in the middle will be taken out by this Amumu, as he just got stunned up. Cho'gath up top fighting Renekton, and Renekton getting the better of him as he does kill more without minions. Caitlyn is very low down bottom, and she should go down if Corki wants to jump in on her, but I don't think he does at this point. She is very low. Barrier, nice use of barrier by Caitlyn, and that will mean a dead Lulu trading 1-for-1. But no, Lulu does get away at the last second, thanks to a beautiful use of the exhaust, and that is a 1-0 trade down bottom with another 1-0 in the middle. Looks like Cho'gath is getting ganked up here in the middle. Renekton pops his Ghost and is hunting down this Cho'gath. He should be able to get a nice stun out there, though their stuns do overlap. It's not going to be enough to save him, as Renekton should be able to just slice and dice over or cull him to death. Caitlyn has picked up her Vampiric Scepter, and Talon's taking incredible amounts of harass in the middle. I'm not sure he's going to be able to stay here very long, as Syndra is a very long caster and can stay out of the harassment range of Talon. She's also pretty mana efficient early on, as her orbs do not take a lot of mana to cast, and she does have a chalice at this point, so she should be able to easily keep herself safe from Talon. That's one of the reasons Talon is not picked very often, is his ability to get on people is not very good if they're long ranged. And he also gets harassed down extremely hard by these long range casters like Karthus or Syndra, who can just sit back and farm with abilities and not even get in harassment range. Looks like Corki's putting some good damage on this Caitlyn. And the slow from Lulu does come out. Looks like Syndra is getting low on mana, and a gank is going to happen by Lee Sin, but Lee Sin will be spotted by Amumu in the jungle. But Amumu will be hit down pretty low and miss on the bandage toss and an ultimate by Amumu. And will a kill come? Yes, there is a 1-for-1 kill exchange, and that was probably worth it, as Lee Sin is not the best mid lane, and Syndra does continue to get free farm in the mid lane. Looks like Caitlyn and Nunu are coming into stride and actually able to trade well with this Corki Lulu. And I definitely think the Caitlyn-Nunu combination is going to come out ahead in the long run, as Caitlyn-Nunu is just one of the strongest lanes I have ever seen. Looks like Lee Sin is going to come in here for a gank, and will he get there in time, or he might just go for a blue buff steal. I could definitely see him going for a blue buff steal at this point. It looks like Cho'gath has gone for the early Sheen, likely picking up that new frozen gauntlet. Nunu is sitting here at the tri-brush, trying to get that ward before it comes out, but he does not get a chance. Lee Sin has completed his Madrid's Razor and going on to a Wriggle's Lantern. Renekton up top is absolutely crushing this Cho'gath, as Cho'gath really needs another armor item at this point. Even something like a cloth armor would allow him to survive pretty much indefinitely in that lane. Looks like Syndra is putting on the damage on this Talon, and Talon has no real hope of engaging. Cho'gath doing a ton of damage up top, and even throwing out the Ignite on Renekton. Renekton could pop his ultimate at any time, and he does do so, as the Cho'gath does feast down on him, and it is a fairly even trade overall. But Amumu is coming up, and I do not think Cho'gath has enough sustain to get himself in a condition to fight this double stun combo. And he misses with the rupture, but Amumu is here, does dodge the bandage toss, and will get taken down under tower. Down bottom we do see a fight going on here as Lulu gets taken out by Caitlyn. And a beautiful Lee Sin gank. And it looks like Syndra is still crushing this Talon, and this is exactly how you play against Talon, just harass him down pretty hard. Looks like Talon does get off his ultimate just in time, but Lee Sin is here to finish it off. And this Lee Sin is doing wonders, being part of every one of the blue team's kills, and is sitting at almost the highest CS in the game compared to Caitlyn and Corki, who are the only ones higher than him. And it looks like blue buff is going to be transferred over for the blue team to this Talon, as he did need that assist really badly, as he was in bad shape. Corki down bottom jumping on Caitlyn, but nothing much comes of it. And it looks like Caitlyn is doing a lot of damage in return, but not enough at this point, as Nunu was not around to give her the blood boil she so desperately needs. Looks like double gold items have been picked up on Nunu. A Giant's Belt picked up on Renekton, along with the Doran's Blade and Null Magic Mantle. Amumu has gone for a Philosopher's Stone in addition to the Machete. Looks like Caitlyn is going to get dived down here and taken out pretty easily by this Corki, though Nunu will get in range just in time. But the missile does hit him at the last second. That is a pretty embarrassing missile. And yeah, looks like Renekton up top is going to harass this Cho'gath down more, as Renekton should beat Cho'gath rather easily, especially if Cho'gath is not going armor. Looks like Amumu does jump in on Talon, and this is a rather dead Talon. Though he does escape slightly and force the Amumu flash, it is not enough. Cho'gath is trying to do something up top, but does not have the health. He does throw down a nice rupture, but not in time, as Renekton just culls him from this world. And the red team is up pretty heavily at this point in time. Lee Sin does jump in and does not get the steal, but he will get taken down really easily by the ultimate from Syndra. And the score is 4-9 with a nice 3,000 gold lead for the red team. Every single one of their lanes is winning pretty heavily at this point. The only saving grace for the blue team is this Lee Sin, but Lee Sin does not have the carry potential if he can't snowball lanes. The whole reason you pick Lee Sin is to snowball lanes and use his ability to kind of jump in and out of fights to bait out skills. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that at this point, as he is not going to get tanky enough to jump in and out, or he's not going to have the damage enough to assassinate someone. This Talon has completed his boots of mobility along with a brutalizer. Top tower is the first tower taken down of this game by Renekton. And Renekton is just dominating this lane, as Cho'gath mistakenly went for the Sheen early, and Sheen just does not do enough early game to justify picking it up. You definitely want something like an armor item against Renekton, or even just a health regeneration item. Caitlyn is getting absolutely crushed down bottom, as Nunu is not doing a whole lot to help her out. He's basically just sitting at tower doing nothing except blood boiling occasionally. And yeah, this Caitlyn is not going to have a good game. I thought Caitlyn would do pretty well with Nunu, but Nunu is just not doing his job of snowballing Corki every time there's an engagement. Looks like Lulu is going to come in here and take a bit of harass, but also give it as well. And Caitlyn is going to go down pretty low. Lee Sin does come in here, but there is a nice use of Cupcake by Lulu, and Lulu will go down. But that means Corki does stay alive, and just getting the support for all those ultimates and summoner abilities is not worth it, as the flash from Nunu and the exhaust from him as well were burned, in addition to ultimates by every single one down there except for Lee Sin. Looks like Lee Sin is coming here on Syndra, but Syndra will just throw out some damage on him. Amumu is coming down here trying to finish off this Caitlyn. He does have his ultimate up, if he wants to use it, but yes, that's a beautiful ultimate by Amumu. Waiting for them to group up, and there is a 2 kills exchange for the red team down there. Meaning Corki and Amumu can just push this tower, though Cho'gath has lane swapped, as he really can't do anything up top with this Renekton. And I think that's the best decision he could do, is just start roaming around the map. He has picked up Ninja Tabi, which I would have liked to seen earlier out of him. That would have been a great pickup early game. Start out with the Doran Shield into Ninja Tabi, then picking up the Sheen. he would have had a much better time against Renekton, as Renekton does a ton of physical damage. Looks like Corki will be safe down there as Lulu does come in. Lee Sin is coming up top to fight Renekton, but Renekton does just slice and dice away. Will Lee Sin be able to land his Q? Just barely, and there is a nice jump by Talon, slowing Renekton down. But Renekton does pop the ultimate, and he is pretty tanky with his ultimate up. Though will Lee Sin land another Q? No, just out of range, and Renekton backs away nicely. We do see Caitlyn and Nunu down here. And hopefully this Caitlyn can come back and make this a game, though she is going for the Hurricane, which is a trap item on any non-on-hit characters. Lulu is taking a fair bit of damage, but she can just shield herself. Her ultimate is up as well, assuming she needs it, and Corki takes a good bit of harass from this Nunu. And there comes the ultimate from Caitlyn, but the ultimate from Lulu counters it rather nicely. And Corki will heal himself back up with the combined power of the ultimate and his soon-to-be completed Bloodthirster. Looks like Syndra is going for the Anathane's Unholy Grail. We see Brutalizer and Boots of Mobility out for this Talon. Amumu is going for the Haunting Guise. A rather interesting build. Looks like Caitlyn is being jumped down here. Will Corki get in range? Just barely, but the barrier will keep him alive for a little longer. And it means Caitlyn will get a kill thanks to a beautiful flash at the last second. Nice bait by Caitlyn, using barrier exactly as intended. And Moon misses his bandage toss up top, meaning no kill will happen on this Cho'gath, who is already in a fairly poor position. But the big difference is here is the CS for every single person on the red team is ahead of the blue team, along with kills being in their advantage, and is a 6-11 game with a 4,000 gold lead. Right now Lulu is taking a lot of harass down there. Amumu has, interestingly enough, picked up an Oracles. I'm not sure he's going to get the wards he needs from it, as a lot of the wards from the Sightstone do not give full gold, and they do not even have a Sightstone or Ruby Sightstone out for the blue team. They're playing with just buying wards. Looks like Syndra will try and flash in there, but to no avail, as Lee Sin does come up. Amumu and Renekton are in the area should someone try to make something happen. Amumu does land a nice ultimate, hitting every single one of them. And that should be a dead Talon, but no, Syndra does decide to back up and finish off Nunu before anything else happens. And ouch, that was a beautiful Amumu ult. Looks like Amumu will be taking some damage from Caitlyn, but Syndra is here. Despite being low on mana, Cho'gath does knock everyone up with a nice rupture. But Renekton is here doing some big damage, and he will get the kill onto Lee Sin. Looks like Syndra will be knocked up by the rupture, and Cho'gath should finish him off with a feast, picking up a blue buff and a much needed kill for himself. Corki is dueling Caitlyn down here, but Caitlyn will win thanks to that nice place Cupcake. But Lulu saving the day with a wild growth. Well played by Lulu right there, doing an absolutely amazing job of keeping herself alive. She has picked up a Sightstone and is almost the MVP of this game, doing so much harassment to this Caitlyn every time she enters lane, and putting Wild Growth on at the perfect time. That is the power of support, folks, and that's why people are loving support in this patch, is they actually get a few more items to toy with. Even though they aren't particularly interesting items, there are more items to play around with. Looks like Corki is going to jump in on this Caitlyn, and he should finish her off with a few rocket barrages. But he is missing every single one so far and does not get the kill, thanks to some nice dukes from Caitlyn. Caitlyn should have her Hurricane at this point, and that will allow her to harass a bit more, as she does do a ton of harassment with it. She could also be going for a Sword of the Divine, but I don't think that's why I say that Talon jumps in on Syndra, but Syndra just pushes Talon back. Lee Sin does come in well, he lands the kick, and he will finish it off with his nice ultimate. Cho'gath up top is pushing and will pick up this tower. As Renekton, I don't think he'll get back in time to defend it, but maybe he will. Looks like Amumu is coming down middle with Corki and Lulu. Amumu does land another beautiful bandage toss. His ultimate is not up at this point. If it were, that would have been another beautiful ultimate from him. Amumu is also doing a great job this game, but their flashes were burned from the blue team, and they are allowed to just escape. Corki will try to hit this tower as Cho'gath is behind. Cho'gath will get this kill on to Corki as Corki just stayed around a little too long. And it looks like Amumu does get hit by the rupture. And will be taken pretty low by Cho'gath. Cho'gath still has his feast, but Renekton is up here in the front line doing a ton of damage with that Sunfire Cape. And looking really awesome while he does it. Looks like Talon has made a slight comeback. Caitlyn has grabbed up a tower down bottom. Meaning the gold is only 3,000 different. It looks like there's a rupture in the bush, but it will not hit anyone. As Syndra does come up, get a nice stun on Cho'gath, and Cho'gath will go down to this nice Renekton. As Renekton is incredibly strong at this point, and I don't think anyone from the blue team can duel him at this point. He is tied for the highest CS in the game, sitting on his Sunfire Cape, and Renekton's amazing ability to absolutely crush people. Looks like this tower mid will go down to the minions as Syndra wisely backs up. The blue team is going to go down there and posture for Dragon, as a fight should break out here. Though I'm not sure it's going to be the smartest of fights, as Cho'gath is still down for a few seconds. Lee Sin places a ward from his Wriggles Lantern. Caitlyn has picked up a Hurricane, and this is a free Dragon for the red team. Wise move not to contest it at this point, as there is just not a whole lot the blue team can do in a team fight. Especially with their summoners down, and they need those summoners, especially Flash, to get onto people in the back lines. Right now it looks like either Caitlyn or Cho'gath is going to pick up this blue buff. Caitlyn has pleated a Hurricane. It is a nice item for farming, but it is just not that great on anyone who doesn't have an on-hit ability like Kog'Maw, Varus, or Teemo. Brutalizer and almost a Bloodthirst have been completed on Talon. Looks like another tower has gone down top, almost evening out the score in towers. Renekton is going to be hit pretty hard here. He should pop his ultimate at this point, and he will do a ton of damage to that Talon, and he will get away thanks to a beautiful use of Slice and Dice, dicing right through the minions and getting away. Well played there by that Renekton. Looks like Nunu has picked up a Kindle Gem and Boots of Mobility. Anathan's Unholy Grail and almost Death Cap completed on this Syndra. Syndra is benefiting from these patch changes rather nicely, along with all of the kind of burst casters, as there's a bit less magic resistance around there, and their burst combo does a lot more damage. Renekton has completed a Last Whisper, Shard of True Ice up on Lulu, Amumu completing the Sunfire Cape almost, and the Infinity Edge and Zeal up on Corki. What is that? The Gauntlet of Ice, Iceborne Gauntlet up on Cho'gath, and in addition to a bunch of armor items. Looks like Aegis of the Legion up on Lee Sin. Lee Sin will hit Lulu, but Lulu with that Oracles will just back up and exchange some damage. Lee Sin definitely got the worst trade in that. Looks like an ultimate from Caitlyn comes out, but Renekton blocks it with his massive amount of armor. It looks like a beautiful bandage toss hits 2. And the ultimate from Lulu does go on Amumu, but he is knocked back by the Lee Sin kick. Lulu is pretty low, but so is the Caitlyn as Syndra does take her down. Cho'gath's Feast does do a lot of damage, but Cho'gath will go down to the Amumu jumping in. Corki doing a whole lot of damage as he's been relatively unharmed by anything but the AoE effects this team fight. And this should be another tower down, as I don't think Talon wants to engage here, even though there are several low health targets. The fact that Corki did just get a crit there, and the stun from Renekton doing a real job of keeping Talon down. This is another tower by the red team, and their team fight is just superior at this point. That Amumu ultimate caught several key members and allowed them to take so much damage. In addition to that, Caitlyn just does 0 damage. I'm sorry to say it, but this Caitlyn's damage is near 0. Going for the noob trap item of Hurricane, and I'm going to say this multiple times because it is very fun to say. Don't pick up Ronalyn's Hurricane unless you have on-hit abilities such as Kog'Maw, Varus, or Teemo. Caitlyn does have one on-hit ability, but it is very weak and is not that good for use in team fights. She needs a single target damage to just pick people off with the Nunu Blood Boil. Looks like Static Shiv up on Corki. I'm not a big fan of Static Shiv on AD carries. It is a decent item and allows for some pretty good damage, But Lulu will be caught out here by a rupture and taken down without any question. Deciding not to ward her way in, thinking she was safe with that ward in the bush near blue buff. Looks like there is going to be a push by the blue team as Caitlyn and Talon push the side lanes out, but Corki's damage is pretty ridiculous at this point. And I really should test, see if Static Shift works with abilities, but I don't believe it does. I believe it is only on auto attacks. Looks like Death Cap has been completed on Syndra. A Brutalizer up on Renekton as he will likely go for the Black Cleaver. Looks like Lee is just out of range, but does get hit by the slow. And Syndra just cannot land her stun. But Corki is here to really hurt this Lee Sin. Nice bandage toss by Amumu, who's landed several really key bandage tosses this game. Renekton using a slice and dice to get in range to block the Caitlyn ultimate. As Corki is getting free reign in this fight. Syndra does get pretty low. As Caitlyn does get the net with the finish off with a net. Corki will jump over here and finish off Caitlyn. But that is a decent exchange, as that is a much needed kill by Caitlyn. Lulu up top is dueling this Talon, and Lulu will go down if Talon decides to try anything. Lulu should just pop her ultimate here. But he does go down. Here comes Corki. Will Corki be able to Valkyrie in? Yes, he does. Talon does flash away, but a missile does finish him off, and that is a very good trade, as Lulu is not worth a whole lot of gold, having no kills on her at this point, and several deaths to her name. Looks like an Infinity Edge is up next for Caitlyn. Another item that does not synergize well with Hurricane, as the critical strike does not transfer over. You want to pick up straight attack damage if you're going Hurricane. It looks like Talon has completed his Black Cleaver. Nunu is going for a Shroya's Reverie and has picked up a Giant's Belt. Not sure where he's going with that. We send with a Giant's Belt as well, like pick up a Warmongs or Frozen Mallet. Looks like a Riley's Crystal Scepter is up for Syndra. Possibly a Last Whisper up for Corki next. Renekton will be picking up the new awesome Black Cleaver. Ruby Stitezone and Shard of True Frost up on Lulu with cooldown reduction boots. Looks like this will be another dragon for the red team as they've taken all of them this game. The score is 14-22 at the 26-minute mark. There is a 6,000 gold lead for the red team, and they are up one tower. And right now they have complete control of this game, even more than the score shows, especially because Amumu has been landing beautiful ultimates all game. And the second Amumu lands an ultimate on multiple people, the AoE damage from Renekton, Corki, Lulu, and Syndra just absolutely wrecks their team. Cho'gath is going to go for either a Randuin's, but it looks like Caitlyn will almost get caught out here, as the red team really wants to fight at this point, but Amumu does want to go back and pick up another item. He has completed a Sunfire Cape, and the blue team is posturing up here for a fight, but the slow will land and prevent any more damage from coming out from the blue team. Nunu really wanted to get in there and get a kill, but he did not get there in time, as Syndra's slow is pretty powerful. Looks like a Rupture does miss, and Amumu misses his bandage toss, but it does not matter. He does flash, lands bandage toss on two, with Lee Sin and Cho'gath taking some good damage. Another bandage toss missed by Amumu. Renekton is here, going to get caught out here and taken down for free, as he just overextended himself and got greedy. Looks like Nunu has disconnected from this game or quit. I really can't tell. But it looks like Syndra is going to deal some massive damage to Cho'gath, and the bandage toss keeps Nunu safe and gets the nice stun on Cho'gath. Lulu is coming down here, and the ultimate from Lulu does keep him safe and allows him to just sit in these fights and use that massive AoE slow. Corki will be able to pick up this Lee Sin, but Caitlyn does get a nice kill onto Lulu. And Lee Sin does actually get away using his Q to jump to the golems down there. Alright, now Syndra is posturing for a kill as Corki does come down bottom and finishes off Lee Sin. and will be able to kill this Caitlyn under tower, but he will pay for it with his own life. But that is probably worth it, grabbing 2 kills on their carries for only one of his own. So it looks like, yes, the last whisper has been completed on Corki, in addition to having the Vampiric Scepter. It looks like a Shroya's Reverie is up next for Lulu. Renekton's going to build out some more armor. Talon has finished his Bloodthirster and Hex Drinker. It looks like Cho'gath picked up a Giant's Belt, and the Infinity Edge is complete on Caitlyn. She will be going for a Last Whisper next. And right now, the red team just needs to posture up and take Baron. There's not a whole lot they can do at this point. The blue team can't really stop them. Their Nunu has decided to disconnect from the game. And Talon might be caught out here, as both Lulu and the rest of the red team has come up here. Lulu is doing a good job of just staying alive and waiting for Talon. But Talon does flash over the wall, and he will not be pursued. The Banish Toss from Amumu is just out of range, and this should easily be the Baron for the red team, assuming they want to take it. I would go for the Baron at this point if I were them. But it looks like Lee Sin is going to get caught up by Corki. And if they can get Lee Sin out, there's no way they shouldn't go for Baron. As Lee Sin is their jungler, he does have Smite, and he's probably their highest burst damage character. Lee Sin is going to lead him on a nice ring around the Rosie game, as he does jump over to those wolves. And will he get away? We will flip to Lee Sin and see, but he should. Renekton is in the area, but Caitlyn is also coming in. Looks like Cho'gath is going to go try to get this middle tower, but here comes Amumu. Amumu should be able to land a Bandage Toss on him. Yes, he does. Cho'gath's model is extremely big, and it's hard to miss. Looks like Cho'gath does flash over that wall, but here comes Talon jumping in the fight. But a nice cupcake by Lulu does save everyone during that fight. And that is a beautiful ultimate by Lulu. Renekton is taking down Cho'gath here at the end of that fight, and this is a free Baron. Red team is up 5,000 gold, and I just don't see any way the blue team can come back from this unless Lee Sin gets a steal here, which I don't expect him to do with the high damage of Amumu, Renekton, and Corki here. Looks like Corki is going to zone him out, taking out half of his health there. Looks like Caitlyn is trying to get an inhibitor in the back. Nice ultimate by Amumu prevents Lee Sin from actually getting in there and finishing it off. And in the backside, Syndra picks up Caitlyn, who is split pushing. Not a bad idea, but Lee Sin didn't get there in time to actually stall the Syndra from going back. Caitlyn could have easily taken out Lulu in a fight, but Syndra is another story. And this Corki is in great shape. Looks like Syndra has opted to go for the Void Staff. Nunu has reconnected here, and that does give the blue team a bit of life. Random's Omen up on Cho'gath. It is pretty powerful at this point, as it will last 3.5 seconds for that slow. It has been nerfed rather heavily this patch. Looks like a Maud Malmortius up on Talon. A pretty good idea. Looks like Lee Sin going for the Frozen Mallet. Possibly a just tank build on this Nunu, picking up 2 Giant's Belts. Let's see, Lulu has picked up an Oracle's Elixir, not opting to pop it yet. She's likely going to pop it when she gets in the field. Guardian Angel up on Corki. Looks like either a Zhonya's Hourglass or Guardian Angel will come up on Syndra next. Renekton picks up a Guardian Angel as well. And that should be the end of the blue team here, as all those Guardian Angels will keep them alive even if they die once. But I'm surprised Renekton has not finished off the new Black Cleaver, or Corki gone for the new Black Cleaver. The new Black Cleaver on Corki is absolutely amazing, as his Gatling gun basically instantly procs every single stack of the Black Cleaver, as it is physical damage, and hits once every half or quarter second. Let me check that. Looks like Talon is kind of caught out and is actually hit by the Syndra stun. That is impressive Syndra stun. This Syndra knows what she is doing. She has landed several key stuns And with Talon out of the way, this is going to be an inhibitor. Another beautiful stun by Syndra, hitting 2 people to the side. And yeah, this is the Syndra player. If Syndra players get good, they can do some real wonderful things. But very few Syndras are that good. And there's another 2-person stun by Syndra's orbs. Will she land another one? She very well could, but they are waiting for this minion wave. A probably wise idea. Syndra has popped up another orb, and she decides not to throw it. But she does have several out on the battlefield if she wishes to use them. Nunu does get caught out by that ultimate, and so is Caitlyn. But Amumu does a beautiful job. Nice rupture, hitting 3 by Cho'gath. And Renekton has got the big buffs on him. And it looks like there's 2 kills down, and the red team should be able to finish it off from here. Though they are getting fairly low. Another stun by Syndra onto that Talon, backs him up, and this means the first inhibitor of the game is taken by the red team. The red team is in a commanding lead, thanks to the fact that Amumu's landed several key bandage tosses and ultimates. It looks like Talon will go down thanks to another bandage toss by Amumu, keeping in place. Looks like Syndra will put some big damage out, and another stun onto that Cho'gath means that he is taken down. The red team will push to finish the game here, even though they do not have minions. The Amumu and Renekton are tanky enough, and Lee Sin has basically accepted this game is over, as he is trying to do something, but he just does not have a chance. And this came down to Caitlyn never really getting things going, and Amumu capitalizing on every single one of his ultimates. Also, the Cho'gath never really got going as well. He was fairly weak throughout this entire game. But yeah, don't go Randuin's Hurricane as your first item. Especially on characters that don't have on-hit effects. That's really what cost them this game. And even though Caitlyn did have good farm and fairly decent kill score, she did not have the impact in the early game she needed to really carry this game. That was the biggest factor in the game, as Caitlyn never got anywhere. Talon not doing a whole lot of ganking and kills also hurt, but he did do a fair job of, in the mid-game, roaming around and setting things up.
Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.